welcome back to Softonic's weekly video game show, Click, Swipe, Play, where we review 3 games in 3 minutes. And this week we have Goat Simulator, MMO Simulator, Corpse of Discovery, and Star Wars Uprising. Let's get to them. Okay, so first up this week we have a game that I would describe as more interesting than it is good, and that is Corpse of Discovery. Now on the Steam landing page for this, it describes itself as a walking simulator, which is absolutely fair enough, except you also get to jump and glide around because you're on other planets. Now it all begins when you're supposedly kind of crash landed in this prefab building. Exiting that, however, you're tasked with setting up various things to scan the world. Now, we're not quite sure what's going on in your head as you go around, but something's not right because you keep passing out, and when you come to, you're on a new world. You have a machine called an Ava, which is like a little droid that goes around monotoningly telling you what you're meant to be doing, but it gets quite dark as you seem to be stranded just before you pass out each time and keep witnessing strange artifacts from a past life. If this sounds like your kind of thing, then it's definitely worth a go, although do be warned there are some technical flaws and we regularly found ourselves falling through the bottom of the world to our deaths. Still, nonetheless, we gave this a 6 out of 10, so it's still worth a go. Okay, second this week we have Goat Simulator MMO Simulator, which is, if you listen carefully, as the name suggests, the Goat Simulator franchise inside an MMO simulator. So this isn't really an online, massively multiplayer role-playing game. Instead, it's a simulation of it. What you're treated to is the wackiness of a Goat Simulator game inside all the trappings of a fancy RPG world. This includes completing fetch quests and talking to other characters in the world, which invariably you end up headbutting to death because you're a goat. Now the gameplay itself is basically unchanged from other installments in the Goat Simulator franchise, but the mission structure is a bit more clear as you'll bounce from one quest giver to another. This remains a fun and clever parody series, and we certainly enjoyed it and thought that the new fancy setting gave it a real spark, leading us to give it 8 out of 10. Meh. Finally this week we have the mobile game Star Wars Uprising. Now this is an action RPG in the same vein as Diablo, which has you tapping around the screen to guide your character and then tapping on enemies to destroy them. And there is a lot to kill and fight your way through. But that's not all that's going on here, because this is set just after Return of the Jedi and is probably going to fill in some gaps between this and The Force Awakens. So it introduces the concept of the Iron Blockade, like an Iron Curtain that keeps out the fact that the Emperor's dead. It's an interesting hook that could provide some really interesting storylines for Star Wars fans. Now, as well as the storyline, you also get to customize your character and level them up as you collect loot from your dungeon delving activities. Also, there's an online component that allows you to fight with other people against the various robots and other foes you meet throughout the Star Wars universe. It is free to play, so you can expect it to get a little bit stilted at times, but nonetheless a great free game that we can't help but give an 8 out of 10. That's it for this week. We'll see you with 3 more games next week. Be sure to tune back in for that, and I'll see you then.